Question number 4. Okay. A table of values of f, g, f prime and g prime is given. This is the table. And first one is if r of x is equal to f of g of x, find r prime of 2. Now see, this is r of x is equal to f of g of x. Now we want to find out r prime of 2. Now differentiate with respect to x. d dx of r of x is equal to d dx of f of g of x. This will become r prime of x equal to differentiation of this quantity is f prime of g of x d dx of g of x. Differentiation of g of x becomes g prime of x. F prime of g of x into g prime of x. Now here value of x is 2. Therefore, r prime of 2 is equal to f prime of g of 2 into g prime of 2. Now substitute the values. F prime g of 2, g of 2, g of x is 2. So g of 2 is 6 into g prime of 2. This is g prime. This is 2. It's 4. So now f prime of 6. This is f prime. This is 6. F prime of 6 is minus 4. Minus 4 into 4. Therefore, r prime of 2 is minus 16. Next, second one. This is r of x equal to g of 3 plus f of x. Why this is happening? Now, we have to find out r prime of 4. Therefore, differentiate with respect to x. So this becomes r prime of x equal to, I will write down this first, this like d dx of r of x is equal to d dx of g of 3 plus f of x. Okay, therefore this become r prime of x equal to g prime of 3 plus f of x into d dx of 3 plus f of x. So this is g prime of 3 plus f of x into differentiation of 3 is 0. The differentiation of f of x is f prime of x. So this becomes g prime of 3 of f of x into f prime of x. Now the value of x is 4. This becomes r prime of 4 equal to g prime of 3 plus f of 4 into f prime of 4. This is equal to g prime of 3 plus f of 4 is what? This is f of 4 is 3 into f prime of 4. This is f prime 4 is 5. This becomes g prime of 6 into 5. G prime of 6. Since g prime of 6 is 7. This becomes 7 into 5. Therefore, r prime of 4 is 35. Okay. Now next. S of x. S of x is equal to f of 9 minus f of x and find s prime of 4. So differentiate with respect to x. So d dx of s of x is equal to d dx of f of 9 minus f of x. So this become s prime of x equal to f prime of 9 minus f of x d dx of 9 minus f of x. F prime of 9 minus f of x into 0 minus f prime of x. This becomes f prime of 9 minus f of x into minus f prime of x. Okay, so now s prime of 4 is becomes 4 is equal to this minus is first. So f prime of 9 minus f of 4 into f prime of 4. So this minus f prime of 9 minus f of 4 is 3 into f prime of 4 is what? F prime of 4 is 5. Okay, now this becomes minus f prime of 6 into 5. Now f prime of 6, f prime of 6 is minus 4. So this becomes minus of minus 4 into 5. So this becomes 4 into 5. Therefore, s prime of 4 is equal to 20. Okay. Now next, s of x equal to g of x. We find s prime of 6. Therefore, differentiate with respect to x. This becomes d dx of s of x equal to d dx of g of x. Therefore, s prime of x equal to g prime of g of x into d dx of g of x. This becomes g of x into g prime of x. Now, value of x is 6. Therefore, s prime of 6 is equal to g prime of g of 6 into g prime of 6. Therefore, g of 6 is 2 into g prime of 6. G prime of 6 is 7. Now again g prime of 2 is 4 into 7. Therefore, s prime of 6 is 20. Now, fifth question is what? Assume that f prime of 3 is equal to minus 1. F prime 3 minus 1. G prime of 2 is 5. G of 2 is 3. And y equal to f of g of x. Then dy by dx at x equal to 2 is what? So, differentiate with respect to x. This becomes dy by dx equal to d dx of f of g of x. This becomes f prime of g of x into d dx of g of x. This becomes f prime of g of x into g prime of x. Now we want to find out dy by dx at x equal to 2. Therefore, dy by dx at x equal to 2 is f prime of g of 2 into g prime of 2. So this becomes f prime. G of 2 is 3 into g prime of 2 is 5 and f prime of 3 is minus 1 into 5. So dy by dx at x equal to 2 becomes minus 5. Okay, now next one, sixth. If h of x is given, right, root 4f of x plus 3g of x, f of 1, f of 1 is 4, g of 1 is 3, f prime of 1 is 3, g prime of 1 is 4, and find h prime of 1. Therefore, h of x is what? Is square root of 4 f of x plus 3 g of x. Differentiate with respect to x. d dx of h of x equal to d dx of square root of 4 f of x plus 3 g of x. Okay. Therefore, h prime of x becomes 1 upon 2 root 4 f of x plus 3 g of x d dx of 4 f of x plus 3 g of x. Therefore, here we use formula d dx of square root of x is 1 upon 2 root x. Now, differentiation of this is what? 4 f prime of x plus 3 g prime of x upon 2 root 4 f of x plus 3 g of x. This is h prime of x. But we want to find out h prime of 1. Value of x is 1. Therefore, h prime of 1 is what? 4 f prime of 1 plus 3 g prime of 1 upon 2 4 f of 1 plus 3 g of 1. Now values. 4 f prime of 1 is 3 plus 3 g prime of 1 is 4 upon 2. I will use values from there. 4 f of 1 is 4 plus 3 g of 1 is 3. Now see, this become 12 plus 12 upon 2 root 16 plus 9. This becomes 24 upon 2 root 25. 2 ones are 2, root 12 are 24. This becomes 12 by 5. Square root of 25 is 5. Therefore, h prime of 1 is 12 by 5. Okay, now next. Seventh one. Find the x coordinates of all the points on the curve y equal to sine 2x minus 2 sine x. Here 0 is less than or equal to x is less than 2 pi, where dy by dx is 0. So differentiate with respect to x. dy by dx is what? d dx of sine of 2x minus 2 sine x. So differentiation of sine 2x is what? Sine becomes cos 2x into d dx of 2x minus 2 cos x. So differentiation 2x is 2, so I will write down this dy by dx equal to 2 cos 2x minus 2 cos x. But dy by dx is 0. Therefore, 0 is equal to 2 cos 2x minus 2 cos x. This is given. And now we want to find out the value of x. Therefore, I will write down this like this. 2 formula for 2 cos x is what? 2 cos square x minus 1 minus 2 cos x. Here I will write down the 0. Formula of this is that. So this becomes 4. Therefore, 4 cos square x minus 2 cos x equal to 0. So this becomes quadratic equation. 4 cos square x minus 2 cos x minus 2 equal to 0. So we need multiplication minus 8 and addition minus 2. Therefore, factor becomes 4 cos square x minus 4 cos x plus 2 cos x minus 2 equal to 0. These are the factor for this. Okay, so common is what? 4 cos x is common. Here remains cos x minus 1. Here 2 is common, so it becomes cos x minus 1 equal to 0. Therefore, cos x minus 1 is one factor and 4 cos x plus 2 is another factor. Therefore, cos x minus 1 equal to 0 or 4 cos x plus 2 is equal to 0. Therefore, cos x equal to 1 or cos x is equal to minus 2 by 4. This is minus 1 by 2. Therefore, here cos x is 1 at x equal to, here they give the limit from 0 to 2 pi. So value of cos x is 1 at cos x equal to pi by 2 and 3 pi by 2. Okay. Sorry, I did it wrong. Cos x is at 0 and 2 pi. At that value, let me check it out. Form functions of cos is like this. This is from 0 to 2 pi. At 0 it is 1 and at 2 pi it's 1, correct. But it's strictly less than 2 pi. So value of x is 0. This is one answer. And cos x is minus half is at minus cos pi by 3. At 60 it's minus half. The minus half has two values at this point and at this point. Okay, so I can write down this x is as is like cos pi plus pi by 3 or x equal to cos pi minus pi by 3. I think cos pi is minus 1. So if you expand this, this is cos a, cos b minus sin a, sin b. At sin pi is 0, that term cancels out. And cos multiplication of this becomes minus 1 into pi by 3. And here also same answers you will get. Here we used which formula? So we using cos of a plus minus b is what? That cos a cos b minus plus sin a sin b. Okay, now you can check this by using pi and pi by 3, you will get this one. Now see, therefore x equal to becomes, sorry, this is simply, this is cos x equal to, I will write down this, therefore cos x becomes cos of 3 plus 1, 4 pi by 3, or here it becomes cos x equal to cos 3 pi minus pi, 2 pi by 3. Therefore, x is 4 pi by 3 and x is equal to 2 pi by 3. Now these are the answer. Therefore, values of x are either 0, then 2 pi by 3 and 4 pi by 3. At that point, these conditions are satisfied. Okay. Now next, select the appropriate hint from the hint basket and fill up the blank spaces in the following paragraph activity. So here are the hints and we have to use those hints into above things. Okay. Now see. Let given let f of x equal to x square plus 5 and g of x is equal to e raised to x plus 3. Then first they ask f of g of x. Okay. F of g of x is what? F of g of x is e raised to x plus 3. Now use this at the x. So this becomes e raised to x plus 3 whole square plus 5. So expansion becomes e raised to 2x plus 6 e raised to x plus 9 plus 5. So first empty space f of g of x becomes e raised to 2x plus 6 e raised to x plus 14, and that is here. Okay, this first empty space. Next, and they asked g of f of x. Now reverse. G of f of x is what? X square plus 5. So g of f of x at x you have to use x square plus 5. So it becomes e raised to x square plus 5. I will write down e raised to x square plus 5 plus, therefore g of f of x. This is your second fill in the blanks. Okay. Now third one. Now f prime of x. So differentiation of f of x is what? That is simply 2x, and here g prime of x is what? Differentiation of g prime of x is e raised to x. Okay. Now the derivative of f of g of x with respect to x in terms of f and g is, okay, they asked f of g of x differentiation of this. So when we differentiate with respect to x will be what? It becomes d dx of f of g of x is equal to f prime of g of x into d dx of g of x. So ultimately it becomes f prime of g of x, f prime of g of x into g of x. Now, therefore, d dx of f of g of x. So next, they ask f d dx of f of g of x, differentiation of these things. Differentiation of these things I will write down here. D d dx of f of g of x is differentiation of this. I will write down direct differentiation. Differentiation of e raised to 2x is e raised to 2x, and again differentiation of 2x is 2 plus this 6 e raised to x, and this becomes 0. Okay, this one. And next they asked this at x equal to 0. So d dx of f of g of x at x equal to 0 is 2 e raised to 0 plus 6 e raised to 0 equal to 2 something raised to 0 is 1 plus 6 something raised to 0 is 1. So this 2 plus 6 is simply 8. Okay. Now the derivative of g of f of x with respect to x in terms of f and g is, now they asked g of f of x differentiation. So if you differentiate it with respect to x, this becomes d dx of g of f of x equal to g prime of f of x d dx of f of x. So this is equal to g prime of f of x into f prime of, sorry, I want to write down with different colors. So this becomes g prime f of x into f prime of x. Okay, this next empty space. Now differentiation of g of f of x. Now here we have to find out differentiation of this quantity. So d dx of g of f of x is equal to, differentiation of this is what, e raised to x square plus 5 d dx of x square plus 5, and differentiation of 3 is 0. This becomes, the differentiation of x square is 2x, 5 is 0, so 2x e raised to x square plus 5. This is your next empty place. Now this is at x equal to minus 1. Okay, so write it down like this, d dx of, or with this color, d dx of g of f of x at x equal to minus 1 is equal to 2 into minus 1 into e raised to minus 1 square plus 5. So this becomes minus 2 e raised to 1 plus 5. So answer is minus 2 e raised to 6. Okay, this is your answer. Here now exercise 1.1 is completely finished.